Why am I in Manchester, Kentucky? Well, PowerUp America invited me out for the grand opening of their first location. Since I don't know when I'll ever be out this way again, I decided to make the drive. So today, checking out the ribbon cutting ceremony, doing a full rate and review, and see if the trip was actually worth it. Hey, how's it going? So, why did I actually drive out here? Well, it's not every day you get to be at the grand opening of a new ground-up CPO, charge point operator. And out here in the middle of nowhere, Manchester, Kentucky, I have that opportunity. PowerUp America is an all-new charging company utilizing NEVI to target much-needed infrastructure in rural Kentucky and Tennessee. And that's something that gets missed in the NEVI talk. It's not just about having chargers along the interstates, it's also meant to encourage building stations where the big boys don't generally look because they can't see the need. Larger CPOs think, why build if there's no EVs? But several stations that have done similar to this show the old, if you build it, they will come mentality. You know, chicken or the egg stuff. So with that, I'm gonna try and get some footage of the ceremony, do a full review, get an Amped Americano rating in the books. Oh, quick note on transparency before I get started. I paid for my own travel, my own hotel, every charge to get out here and back. PowerUp did host a media dinner last night. They have zero say over this video, and the review is completely my own opinion. Let's get to it.
So much for being here. My name's Des Carlisle, and I have the honor of being your MC this morning. When we look around, I see friends and partners, elected officials, engineers, contractors, bankers, grant partners, family, and people who simply believed enough to show up. And that's fitting because this station wasn't built by one company. It was built by an entire community that believed something worth doing was worth doing well. Today we're cutting a ribbon, but what we're really celebrating is perseverance. Because if you've ever built anything meaningful, you know the ribbon is the easiest part. A few years ago, there wasn't a station, there wasn't concrete, there wasn't chargers, there weren't partners yet. There wasn't even certainty that any of this would ever happen. There was simply an idea and two people willing to carry it further than most people ever would. Every major project reaches a moment where the excitement wears off and reality sets in. The permits take longer than we think, financing becomes harder, engineering changes, timelines slip. People begin to ask, is this really going to happen? Those moments define projects, and more importantly, they define people. Josh and Jesse, congratulations. Your determination never wavered. You stayed the focus when focus was hard to find. You put belief on days it was hard to believe, and you embraced every challenge and found opportunity in the absolute impossible. There were moments when the easier path would have been to walk away, when a grant program froze, when a bank asked one more question, when a permit took one more month than it should have. You never took the easy path. You took the harder one over and over because you believed that this was worth building right, not just building fast. That's not luck, that's not talent alone, that's character. And it's exactly why we're all standing here today. Great partnerships begin long before the first success. They begin when someone chooses to believe before there is proof. The Kimbrough family saw something in Josh and Jesse that couldn't be measured on a spreadsheet. They saw character, they saw resilience, and they saw builders, and they chose to build together. For 75 years, the Kimbrough family has served people on the road. Harlan Kimbrough built a business that was committed to serving the person on the other side of the pump. And his children and his grandchildren are continuing that legacy today. The fuel may look different, but the commitment to serving people on their journey remains exactly the same. None of this happens with two people alone, and I want to be specific about the people who helped us get here. To the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, thank you over and over again. Thank you for recognizing the potential of this project, for believing rural communities should be included in the future of transportation, for helping make Manchester PowerUp's flagship location. Thank you for your partnership, your guidance, and commitment it took to move this from application to operating station. To Kimley-Horn and Kempower, our sponsors and technical partners, thank you for believing in this site before there was a ribbon to cut. In a few minutes, I'll let you guys both say a little words about what this site is. To Statement, thank you for bringing our brand to life. The logos, the colors, the look you see everywhere on this site today, that's your work too. To EPS Construction and every crew who poured this concrete, ran the power, and stood up the canopy over your shoulders, that's their work too. To Field Advantage, I saw you guys around here, who helped work alongside Kempower to get this site successfully commissioned. To Industrial Optics, who moved quickly to deliver cameras and connectivity we needed on an accelerated timeline, thank you. To Linkwell, Rexel, Southwire, and so many other vendors, your equipment and expertise that made this site possible, thank you. Be proud of what you have built. To our bankers and our attorneys, who turned "this should work" into something that actually could be financed and legally stand. Thank you for the unglamorous but essential work of making belief bankable. To our PowerUp team, Stephanie and Tyler, thank you for the countless hours to make this vision a reality. And to our new partners who are here today to join us in on this journey of our next deployments, thank you for choosing to sit at our table. To Quantrell Cadillacs of Lexington, there's a beautiful Cadillac over here on your fourth charging bay that was part of their sponsorship today. Please go check that out, and a big thank you for helping us sponsor this event. To the influencers and EV enthusiasts who traveled from every corner of the United States to be here. It was a pleasure to have dinner with you last night, to learn about your own stories, but thank you more than anything for taking the time to allow us to tell you the PowerUp story. Our stations are built for your communities. And to the friends and family who showed up simply because you love these people, thank you for being the reason any of this was worth doing in the first place. Too often, rural communities are overlooked when it comes to new infrastructure. The site is proof that they shouldn't be. Manchester wasn't chosen as a place to test a lesser version of PowerUp. It was chosen as the place to build our flagship. Today isn't the finish line, it's proof. Proof it can be done, proof that the model works, proof that partnership matters, and proof that perseverance wins. Everything that comes after this, and there's a lot. Tennessee, Georgia, Virginia, Texas, North Carolina, and even more in the next 12 months, begin because this one happened first. Welcome to Station 1. And it could never be possible without our partners. So I'm so excited to introduce Jake and Jeb of Kimley-Horn and Kempower to say a few words.
Thank you, Des. So yes, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ryan Graham, Vice President with Kimley-Horn, where I help lead our zero emissions vehicles team. Jake in the front row here was a civil engineer of record on this site plan. Cole was the electrical engineer of record. We're really proud to be here. We're really proud of what this site means, not just for the EV community, but for the local community here in Kentucky, as well as across the Southeast. So we've been designing sites for more than a decade, helping clients deliver chargers. We've designed, planned, or permitted more than 30,000 stations across all of North America. But this one is special in our heart because this one, we can drive right into our backyard from Nashville. My Ford Lightning is plugged in here, right? So as a professional, as well as an EV charger in the community, this is just a site that really sticks and we really love. And then again, today is not really about us though. It's about the PowerUp team. It's about celebrating all the hard work that happened before we even met you guys, before we even put pen to paper, before we talked about all the crazy ideas for what this site could look like or what we could do. So we're really proud of that. We're really excited for you and thankful of the trust that you gave us. We're really proud that we had the opportunity to support you guys from the beginning, seeing that vision become something we're all standing on and celebrating today and utilizing in the EV space. This milestone, not only is Kentucky's first, EV station fully covered, but also for what can become commonplace in the Southeast, right? If I drive a gasoline car, I always expect to have a Canopy. I always expect to have amenities, but unfortunately that's not been the reality for EV. And so this is really a step in the right direction to give us all the same equitable access. And what I think makes the PowerUp team truly special is their commitment, as Des has mentioned, to really focusing on the community. They're not dropping chargers, in a parking lot and walking away. They're looking at this as, I want to invest in this community because I want my reputation to hold, and I want the folks here to know that when I come, it's going to be a great charging space where they're going to feel comfortable, they're going to feel safe. And I think that's tremendous, and I think a lot of folks in the industry should make sure they're focusing on that. So with all that, congratulations to the PowerUp team. Thank you for having us, and I'll turn it over.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jed Ruth, Vice President of Markets and Products for Kempower. It's a pleasure to be here representing Kempower. I get to do these a lot in California, and it's great to do this where everybody sounds like me. I mean, I don't have to make get a translator up here. So, but first, congratulations to Josh and Jesse and the entire PowerUp America team. We are really proud to partner with an organization that understands that building a successful charging network involves much more than just installing the equipment. It's creating a location that's reliable, safe, easy to use, and really, as Des said, designed around the needs of the driver. And so many people don't do that. And that vision is reflected clearly here in Manchester from the covered charging area and the pull-through spaces and then the high-power, fantastic charging equipment and this here today. I mean, drivers need to know that they can travel confidently through communities across Kentucky and throughout the Southeast. And investments like this one help make that possible, while bringing, as Des said, travelers, activity, and opportunity into this local community. That matters too. And we are especially proud that the Kempower charging equipment operating here was manufactured in our North American facility in Durham, North Carolina, right where I live. This project represents American investment, American jobs, innovative technology, and strong regional partnerships working together. So thank you, PowerUp. Thank you, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, local officials, project partners, and the Manchester community for helping bring this site to life. So today we're cutting the ribbon on one charging location. We're celebrating the beginning of something much, much larger. And congratulations, and thank you for allowing Kempower to be part of it.
Thank you both so much. It has been truly an honor to work with you guys as our partners. Now I get the honor to introduce the two co-founders of PowerUp. I had the pleasure of meeting these guys a little over 2 years ago, and you have taught me so much about grit and determination, and I'm so proud of what you've built here today. So to give a couple remarks about the journey, I'm going to start with Josh Turner.
Thank you, Des. The podium's not adjustable, so I'll have to squat a little bit. I want to take you guys back to kind of one specific stretch of the PowerUp journey that almost changed everything. We were deep into the early phases of the projects with the federal government, and all of a sudden, the grant program paused. Our team had worked diligently. We had sourced several awards. We had a lot of momentum. We were really focusing on that federal government program, and everything paused. And so for weeks, we became experts at federal law, and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet fielded probably 12 to 200 questions. But we didn't know what that meant. We were trying to identify really what that meant for our company and the awards that we had, but not just for this site, but for every site that we had coming behind it. So there was a real period where we genuinely didn't know if any of this would happen. What we got here wasn't through luck. It was really through KYTC's leadership. They secured our obligation for this site from the federal government before the pause happened, being one of the only states that all of our awards that happened with. And that allowed us to really focus on making this our flagship during the federal funding freeze. So that's why we are standing here today, and this is Station 1. And so this is just one of many projects to come. For months after that, the project existed on paper. It was plans. Kimley does a great job, but all we saw was paper, renderings, timelines. Nobody could really feel it yet. But the moment for me that really hit was the moment I was able to come to the site just after the new year and stand on our own concrete, on the dirt here, and see the development actually happening. It was not a phone call, it wasn't a decision, it was being here and seeing the site. A couple details to me when as we constructed the site that really stood out that maybe many people wouldn't notice. First and foremost, the canopy. We didn't want a standard flat canopy like every fueling station in America had for 50 years. Not that they're not beautiful, Bill, but we wanted to really introduce a canopy in motion. And so if you notice, it's actually has some curvature to it, and it's actually in motion. And for us, that shape is deliberate. We did that on purpose as a physical expression of what we really believe charging should feel like, which is moving forward. There's also a smaller detail too, and this is a big shout out to our group at Statement. When we were working with our branding team, we were identifying our logo and what we could stand for in an icon, what that really stood for. And the P, you'll notice, we only have faded ones here, but you can see them on every charger. You come in red, low of charge, and you leave green, full of charge. And so every aspect of our business has been intentional, from the individual P to the canopy to the pull-through design. None of this could have happened without Jesse. He has been an instrumental part of this journey. He has brought a level of hands-on experience from his history and from the insights that he brought to the project have allowed this to be as successful that it is. Jesse and I had one idea driving all of this: do charging differently. At the onset, that was really what drove us forward. We came into this industry wanting to interrupt standard charging and to do charging differently. And so we've lived that out for years. It's been 4 years of a journey to get to this point, and we stand here today at Station 1, not as an idea anymore. This is now our first site. This is Site 1, but this is the model. And now we have to take everything that we learned building this site, improve it, and do it again throughout the Southeast over and over again. And with that, I'll pass it to Jesse. Thank you, guys.
Luckily, the podium is just my size. Thank you, Josh. So early on in this journey, we sat across from a banker and made our case, and it wasn't a no, but it was very close. So thank you, Jim, for putting up with us and allowing us to answer so many questions from your organization. It was very critical that we learned that process and allowed us to build what you see here today. The other part about this is this wasn't the first time we applied for Kentucky's applications and sites. We had one other round before this. I think we had 4 or 6 sites. And at that time, I don't think we were as prepared as we were with this one. And the fact that we didn't get awarded in some of those sites was great. And it's that blessing in disguise that you hear about, because it allowed us to understand what was needed to make our sites better. And obviously in this round, you can see what we were able to produce. And as far as I know, we're in the top of the openings for the state in all rounds. So it's very exciting for us that we were able to execute this. And thank you, Kentucky, for the opportunity. So for me personally, Manchester means a lot. So I grew up in the mountains of East Tennessee. I have family, Southwest Virginia, in the mountains of North Carolina, West Virginia. So the mountains are where I call home. And oftentimes you see where infrastructure programs do not go where you don't have that highest car count. So that's one thing that is extremely critical for me, is to make sure that we support areas like this. We're going to have projects in larger cities, but for our NEVI awards in Tennessee, Kentucky, all of these other states, we are getting that gap. We want to be that filler in the community that normally doesn't get looked at. So thank you, Manchester, for being such a gracious host and allowing us to come here and be part of your family. So when we built, well, with Josh too, I forgot. Thank you, Josh. Now, here's one wild thing about Josh. He's a great salesman. So I'm working in the data center industry, and this guy comes up, we meet, hey, let's build some chargers. All right, we'll do that. He sends me the data and the awards and say, hey, here's something called NEVI in Tennessee. I never thought he would talk me out of my job and quit. He would talk me into struggling to put it together, and that's the kind of salesman he is. And the support that his experience on the retail side gave us a kind of a yin and yang that has made it to where neither one of us could have done this alone. This would have never got built had it not been for Josh, and I feel good that it's vice versa, because now he has to put up with me. So thank you, Josh, for being that executive that can move forward with that. And again, this is our flagship model. We're going to build bigger and better off of this, but right here, not just a major market, but the right market for us. So thank you so much. This isn't the exception. This is what we're going to move forward with most of our NEVI sites, and we have a lot more that we're trying to win right now. So hopefully you'll see more of these, but this is the first, and thank you for coming to Site 1.
While I wait to get a spot at the charger, let's take a look at this, all the power gear. There's all the switch gear, nicely branded, melds well with the station. And do the transformer check. Right on over here. We got like 1000 kVA for 400, 350 kilowatt. I'm gonna double check the power, but anyway, 1000 kVA. Based on expected throughput, they're probably not too undersubscribed or oversubscribed, but always room to grow. Wait to get on the charger still. Talk a little bit about PowerUp. Hopefully you listened to the speech, but if not, it's a brand new startup. A lot of NEVI funding. They actually have their eyes and working towards 70 stations. This is station 1, so they got a ways to go, but it's looking promising. So we got a nice canopy and got Huddle House next door, so you can run in, use the bathroom, grab some food while you charge. And just a nice backdrop too. Let me spin around and show you. Right off the road there. So, and we'll check back in when I can get on the charger. All right, let's get plugged in. First time on a Kempower unit. So we plug. No app, doesn't have plug and charge yet, but quick tap to pay and we should be good to go. Authenticating, preparing to charge, and it's already, I can't even get my words out and this thing's going. That's fantastic. That's Tesla style speed on getting ramped up. I got plenty of juice because I was 100% on the way down, but I still want to get plugged in and test it out. These are kind of 400 kilowatt units. They're amperage limited. I'm going to get everything I want. They're on a 400 volt car, you're probably 180-ish max, but you can see dual Amphenol plugs, CCS and NACS at each site. All right. Get the official Amped Americano rating while we charge here. So we got a Canopy, that's a cup, but no trash cans and squeegees. No trash cans and squeegees. So they will not get those points. Let's see, location, it's not really off an interstate, but it is off state highway. So it still gets that point, and that kind of goes into the purpose of this is to serve communities like this. It's not necessarily an off the interstate. This is an off the highway where there's nothing else. So I'll get a cup for location. Speed, like I said, they're rated at 400. I got plenty. We'll get both cups for that. Price, they run at 49 cents per kilowatt hour, so there's a cup there. And amenities, my camera wants to follow me today. Anyway, we got the Huddle House, not 24 hours, so 1 cup for that. So I'll pop up the total here, but 1, 2, 3, like 7 or 8. Either way, when I went through that electric era thing a few weeks ago, said, not every site has to be built perfectly for interstate travel. This is a NEVI site. This is for these underserved rural markets, and it nails that perfectly. So don't over-analyze the Amped Americano rating. It's not built for the station. The station is built for Manchester, Kentucky, and for furthering throughout pretty much SEC territory, at least original SEC territory. So your southern, your Tennessees, Georgia, Kentucky, Carolinas is where they plan to expand. So, but either way, I love it. I'm glad I got to come out. So there we have it. PowerUp America, kind of last man standing, just unplugged, and I'm gonna be heading home. But thanks to PowerUp for having me out. Had a great time. Got a good charge. Equipment ran flawlessly. All day these chargers have been full and just pumping away power. So, and if you're ever in Manchester, Kentucky, stop by. But keep an eye out. This isn't going to be it. Like I said, they've got 70 plus locations in the pipelines. You're going to be hearing a lot from these guys. So with that, see you on the next one.